Hi, my name is Scott Morgan with the BTC Journal. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Bryan Parker, and he is a memorial candidate for the City of Oakland. Hi, Bryan. It's good to see you.
How are you? It's good to be here, and I'm glad to be sharing with the people of LA and the city of Santa Monica my candidacy for mayor of the city of Oakland.
Okay, well, very good. People can go to your site, and I'm sure you'll be able to address that too when we come to a conclusion here, so people can get more information about you and your election. Now, the election's kind of a little far off here. Why the quick start? Why the early start?
Yeah, so for us, and we think we got a lot of positives, and we think that we're going to have a winning campaign. But every candidate has something that they need to address, and for us, having been in appointed positions and coming at this from the outsider, we felt that we needed to build name recognition. So we actually already feel a sense of urgency, and I think that the earlier and the more often that we can be out there telling our message of change, the quicker we get the city fired up and behind us and emboldened in our movement.
Okay, very good. Well, you come from a non-elected, what you have done before in the past has been a non-electoral position. You've been in business. How do you think that's going to translate over to, being in charge of, let's face it, a city of 400,000 people?
Yeah, well, I think it'll translate over well. If we look at what the challenges are, I think for the city and the people of Oakland, business as usual is just not going to work. If you look at where we've been for the last 5 or 6 years, year over year, growth declines. Crime is getting worse. We were ranked the robbery capital of the U.S. We're ranked the third most violent city in America. So I think that our challenges are a bit intractable. And so what we need to do is to be able to grow. We have got to break through the inequity in our city, both social and economic, educate folks and provide a quality education across the board, and provide jobs for every man, woman, and child that wants one. So if you look at where I've come from, my background, the last 4 years, I took a division of a large healthcare company, and I grew that from 400 to 700,000. $400 to $700 million in revenue. That's about the size of the city of Oakland in our budget. So I think what the call is for somebody that has a demonstrated track record of growth, a demonstrated track record of putting people back to work, but has the heart of knowing that the way to serve all people is through the equity position. So where we find ourselves at this point in time is needing not a little change, which maybe you could get from a City Hall insider, but a great big change, a disruptive change. So baseball metaphor that we like to use is we're not looking for a single through the right side of the infield. We're looking for the 3-run walk-off home run. We think that's the kind of change this campaign represents.
Okay, very good. Well, in California, on the city and the county level, you are a nonpartisan. You may have an affiliation with one party or another, and I think you're a Democratic affiliation. I would like to also emphasize that I think most people who are Bitcoin adopters basically look themselves, maybe I wouldn't say affiliated with any one political party, and I would say they're probably more fiscally conservative and social liberal. Do you kind of see your way at that? Because Oakland is more of a liberal city, but it does seem like it needs some fiscal house setting. What do you think you can do to bring both those about?
Yeah, no, and I think you hit it right on the head. I think that this starts with the heart, and you're right. We are a city that embraces progressive values. We're a city that believes in investing in our schools and providing a social safety net for people when they fall down. But being committed to that kind of agenda, but not having the finances to match, leaves us at a bit of a crossroads and unable to fund that agenda. And I think in addition to my operating background, I have a deep background in finance. And so you're right. This is about being financially efficient, being financially effective. So I think at this point in time, I am the candidate that marries up the heart with the socially progressive agenda that you said, but with the experience and the know-how of managing things in a financially prudent way, and in fact, a demonstrated track record of growth. I do think that that's what the city of Oakland needs at this time.
Very good. The city of Oakland, unfortunately, has gone through a lot of different changes, as we both know. And one of the changes it does seem like it's gone through has become more of a multicultural type of atmosphere, and the population reflects that. Also, it seems to reflect that, when there are racial divides, such as, the subway shooting that was in Oakland, and just more recently, Trayvon Martin, that there is more of a cry for people to say there should be social justice, and it does seem to congregate in Oakland. How do you think you can handle that, and also, take a despairing 400,000 people that have different race, different idea? How do you think you can marry all that together and make one single unified platform without looking at your favoring one group or another group?
Yeah, well, it's you put a lot into that question, and it is a difficult challenge. But I think that's exactly what's called for. I think what we need here is a unifier. I think we need somebody that's not going to look in the traditional terms of the hills versus the flatlands or the rich versus the poor. And I've had a chance to have some successes in my life and be in business, and so I think I can talk to that population of people. But I'm also a person that was raised by a single mother who had 2 children, who had to struggle to be able to put us through school and struggle to put food on the table and keep bills paid and that sort of thing. So when I look out, it's not someone that's coming at this from an intellectual perspective. I've been there, and I know as we look out at all the people in our city, whether they're rich or poor, whether they're black, white, Asian, or other, that I'm someone that can unify our city, and I think that is the message that's called for. And if you look at the one obvious overhang that you talk about in all of that is our safety. And you talk about the BART shooting of Oscar Grant, and you talk about the riots that broke out after the Trayvon Martin verdict. I'm someone that hasn't just been reading about these things in books. I have experienced this firsthand. I had a sister that when I was 26 years old was murdered. And when I helped her killer be brought to justice, I said that I had, and I'm a lawyer by training as well, that I could bring justice one victim at a time. But I said when we look at the conditions that existed and the systematic underinvestment in education, say in a place like Oakland, and in job opportunities, that those were the things that were going to have to be fixed so that fewer people get killed each year. So our city right now has celebrated the fact that we went from about 130 killings last year to 92 killings this year. I said that's about a 30% drop. But we still had 92 human beings that were killed. And as somebody that is a brother of a murdered sister, I can tell you the enormous strain that puts on a family. I can tell you that for the people that my sister was at work with, was at church with, and her little son was in school with, it tears apart the fabric of a community as well. So I'll take that experience, and that is what gets me out of bed every day and says a 92 number is not acceptable. We need to have none, but we want to have very ambitious goals of saying half that, or only 25% of that number, and not celebrate nominal victories. Back again to our message of big change, not incremental.
Very good. And again, we empathize with your loss. And I guess if there's a silver lining in any loss is that you learn how to deal with it, and you can know how to deal with it in the future because you actually are affected by it. I think one of the things that's struggling with the nation is struggling with right now is the accusations that the NSA are spying on people. There are drones flying, and people don't know if they're being viewed or not. They're really the civil liberties type of thing. And right. Oakland itself is also 61. The legislature during December decided that they were going to start this basically use all the electronic surveillance and basically tie it into one systemized center. Right. There was also a drone operation that was basically tabled, but was promised it was going to be brought up this next year. How can you balance, like you said, the need and the desire by all of us to reduce the amount of homicides especially, but also to safeguard our civil liberties, which are guaranteed by our Constitution?
Yeah, and I think just back to the point of my sister, and I appreciate the sympathies, but it's not learn how to deal with it. What I do is I have an incredible amount of empathy for any family that goes through that, and as mayor, I'll be there anytime an incident like that happens. But I think my job, beyond being empathetic, is to set a tone that this norm that we've let be established in Oakland, that a culture of violence, of murder, and robbery can persist is no more. We have to be outraged, and we have to all be tied into the fact that if something happens to any one of us, whether it's a home invasion, whether it's somebody's, God forbid, life being taken, being robbed at a carpool stop, we're going to have to put a stand and say enough is enough. As you bring up with the Domain Awareness Center, as a lawyer, I can tell you that personal liberties, privacy. You brought up again the Trayvon Martin situation and a similar situation that we had in Occupy Oakland. So the Constitution and the First Amendment guarantees as our most sacred rights freedom of speech. There are other parts of the Constitution that talk about individual liberties and expectations of privacy and that sort of thing. So I think that those are first and paramount in any situation. So to quickly take you through both situations, in the Occupy Oakland one, I have a duty to keep all of our citizens safe. And I will do that. I take that very seriously, and the Constitution envisions a balancing of those two. First and foremost is the right to free speech. But it says that the city has the ability to place reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions on that speech. So we had a mayor that says, well, first you can't be there, then you can be there, then you can't. So flip-flopping messages, then you could stay there all night. No. What mayors in New York and Chicago and LA and other places that got it right did, they said, look, you can peacefully assemble here from 10 to 4. You can't camp out. You can't have grills going, things like that. So I would make sure that those bright lines are there, that it's communicated, but that we also, it's not just about freedom of speech, that we give people a chance to heal and to be heard. What they were protesting in Occupy Oakland was the right to good jobs. We should talk about that. What they were protesting was unfair taxation. We should talk about that, but with our congresswoman, because taxes are made obviously in Washington and at the state level and not in Oakland. In terms of the spying, look, our crime plan, if we get into it, is a 5+1 kind of plan. Technology is the +1. Technology is a great accelerator. It can give us an incredible amount of leverage as we try to do things, and it can help us be efficient. That's what they're trying to get at with this Domain Awareness Center. However, until you figure out the questions of individual liberties, how they'll be protected, how long that data will be kept, for what purpose it will be used, I don't think that we can open that center, because I can't say that I am prepared as a government official to protect those individual liberties to the extent that they are. So I'm absolutely and 100% in favor of innovation and technology to help us do our jobs better, but not at the sake of encroaching on people's civil liberties. So until we get those questions settled, under my administration, that center wouldn't open.
Very good. Very good. And to bring it back to maybe a little lighter note, just in December, the chief, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the actual town in Kentucky, but the chief of police started to take his salary in Bitcoin. Do you think if you have any employees in the city of Oakland that would like to take their payment in Bitcoin, or perhaps even yourself, do you think you would accommodate something like that?
Yeah, so for us, and let me start at a higher level and what this is about and why we were so encouraged about Bitcoin. Again, it represents innovation. My campaign, first and foremost, is about addressing the inequities that exist in our city, both social and economic. Bitcoin, for me, represents an innovation, and Mark Andreessen, of one of the most well-known VCs in the country, said in the New York Times yesterday, this is a chance for the chronically underbanked to be able to be taken online. I look at that as an opportunity for people that haven't been online, haven't been able to pay bills online, haven't been able to transfer money, that have been charged usurious fees to get their checks cashed, as a quantum leap forward. And then once they're online, things that we want as a nation, as a state, and as a city in terms of savings behaviors can occur there. So I look at this as a chance to do that. Is that 100% foolproof? No. But we have to innovate and we have to try things if we're going to move forward as a community. As a person that is building out as a part of our job plan technology and a sustainable technology sector, I do believe Bitcoin as a digital currency. And remember, Alan Greenspan, when he was still Fed chairman, envisioned there would come a day where, and he called it a digital currency. I mean, for all we know, that could be Bitcoin, right? And so that day could be here. What I view my job as the chief executive of this city is to be a facilitator and to let business happen. So Bitcoin can absolutely be a way that commerce can happen more freely between people. It can be a part of the tech ecosystem that gets built out, and we'll see where the proliferation takes it. Would I force a city employee to take it? No, absolutely not. But as the natural markets evolve, assuming that it keeps this democratic purpose that it has, I can see it being a currency that you exchange for goods and services. Sacramento Kings and the NBA are the Golden State Warriors in my city have announced that they'll be the first 2 NBA teams that are taking it. So I think it's not far off that you could see it as a salary. However, I would caution until we know with a little bit better where the volatility could be, any of my employees against holding an overweighted position in Bitcoin. So you're taking your salary. If you take it all in Bitcoin, it could very well shoot from 800 to 1600. But God forbid, what if it goes down to 400 and then your real earning power has just been cut in half? So I think that those are practical realities that we'll have to think about before we say, hey, please take those. But I am an open-minded official that wants to see our city operate more efficiently. But for me, just to put a fine point on this, this allows us to really, in a first tangible way, look at the inequities that have taken place for the chronically underbanked in our country.
Very good. And again, the city of Oakland is the 8th largest city in California, which is saying a lot. Besides the obvious points that you brought out, which I think are exemplimentary of any politician to bring up, what you've brought up in terms of trying to solve things which are difficult, like racial problems or, especially economic inequities. What other message you want to get out to your constituents or people who are thinking about, who are on the fence, because you have the incumbent and one other, as far as I know, Memorial candidate. What sets you apart, besides the obvious that we just stated, what sets you apart from those other candidates?
Well, so, I think what sets us apart is the innovation, and that's a big bucket, right? And so it's not just the Bitcoin, but having that well thought out and how that relates to my core platform and the core problems in our city, right? We're not I'm not a VC, right? So I'm not taking wild flyers on a bunch of different companies. We've got a technology here that I think, for all the reasons that I've articulated, we have to take a look at. We were the first mayoral campaign in America that raised money with crowdsourced funding. Since then, 7 other mayors have copied off of what I have done. So the clear message would be, whether it's budget, whether it's police, or any other area, say for instance education, where we can use things like virtual simulators and market-driven funds to help raise money for our schools, is that we're going to think outside of the box. We're going to embrace new technologies, and City Hall has traditionally been a place where outside of the box thinking, innovation have rarely been embraced. Lastly, it comes back to all the challenges that are on the table and what we're playing for. And what we are playing for and what Oakland needs to thrive and to go forward is not nominal change. It is big, incremental change. I think I'm the best person to bring that, because I'm the only one that has actually, according to the charter of our city, it says that the mayor should be the chief executive of the city. I've shown that I could grow at scale. I've shown that I could add jobs at scale, and I'm ready to do this job together with having the heart and sharing the core values that many Oaklanders share. Okay.
Bryan?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. And this is, again, Scott Morgan from the BTC Journal, just wrapping up an interview here with Bryan Parker, the Memorial candidate for the city of Oakland. And thank you, and congratulations, and good luck.
Yeah, and if I could just say one more thing that we left out at the beginning, you can find us at www.bryanparker, and Bryan with a Y.org, and follow me at Twitter at Bryan Parker 2014.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bryan.